Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm your host, Sarah Banta. I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of 3 teenagers. I believe that your body does want to and is capable of rebuilding and healing itself regardless of what chronic disease you may have. I'm here for you to answer your questions and bring you innovative and cutting-edge technologies and health solutions to empower you and your ability to reach your optimal state of health. Today, my guest will be talking about frequency-based healing. I know that you really need a strong physical foundation to work on your mental growth and your spiritual growth, whether it's overcoming anxiety and depression, losing weight, or detoxing your body in the proper way, and even increasing your level and frequency in life. You need a strong physical foundation of health in order to gain that willpower to make bigger changes in your life. If you're new to following me, I specialize in helping you get there. You can find my health articles, my cutting-edge natural supplements, devices, and protocols at acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I dive into an array of health conditions, their causes and symptoms, and how to address them naturally, and I've spent thousands of dollars and hours of my own time biohacking different supplements, technologies, and diets that don't work so you don't have to. If you have any health issues you need help with, you can email me directly through the website. I personally read every one. Accelerated Health Products is the sponsor of the show. So as you support my website, I'm able to bring you more cutting-edge content and guests to the show. Today, we are going to be diving in on how to heal your body through frequency and energy. So first, I wanted to talk to you about some frequency-enhanced supplements that can aid in the process of healing quicker and more efficiently. The first, Acceleradine. Iodine. Iodine is the wild card in general in supporting the immune system. It's not only anti-inflammatory, but also antibacterial, antiviral, which is super important right now, antifungal, antimicrobial, antiseptic, antioxidant, anti-allergenic, antihistamine, and so much more. It also produces and performs a unique function known as healthy apoptosis, and that is the natural death of traumatized and unhealthy cells. There is no pathogen resistant to iodine, and iodine was used to protect people from the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic that killed over 30 million people. All of these immune boosting benefits are in addition to its key role in the metabolism and thyroid, which is the key to the endocrine system for the immune system. The thyroid produces T4, 4 standing for 4 iodine atoms. And without iodine, the thyroid is unable to produce that T4 that is necessary for the immune system. Not only that, but iodine is the most important spiritual supplement as it relieves depression and brain fog and helps you connect to your higher self. And I talk about increasing your frequency, meaning living at a higher level of awareness and spirituality. So beyond just the benefits of iodine, Acceleradine goes one step further. The scalar frequencies that are embedded in Acceleradine detoxes your pineal gland, which connects you to your higher self, clears that brain fog, and awakens you. Second is Nuke No More. There is no supplement on the market like this. It's the best radiation poisoning treatment that I've come across. It is scalar charged Ormus formula that supports the removal of harmful ionizing radiation for nuclear fallout, smog, ionizing X-rays, and commercial flying, as well as the non-ionizing radiation from smart meters, smartphones, and all the other electropollution we are constantly bombarded with. And then it's also able to detox you from heavy metals in the brain. There is no supplement like this. Third, the accelerated scalar silver. Not only does this silver have an alkaline pH of over 8.0, creating an environment that the foreign pathogens cannot survive in, but it's also programmed with bioinformational scalar technology to help further strengthen the immune system and devitalize those foreign pathogens, including viruses and bacteria. And like the acceleradine, the scalar frequencies embedded in the silver lift you to that higher state of being or the higher frequency. Furthermore, we use microclustered water technology to lower the surface tension for better absorption. Like the silver, we've got accelerated scalar gold, and it has an alkaline pH, and gold has been known for thousands of years to help with anxiety, depression, sleep, and even increasing your IQ. The accelerated gold takes it one step further again, and it has the scalar frequencies embedded in the formula to enhance these healing properties. Lastly, the accelerated cellular detox powder. Now, this is a blend of 6 organic detoxification ingredients, and it's the top organic detox on the market. It helps soak up the toxins, including heavy metals, alcohol, food poisoning, radiation, while also killing the parasites and fungus. It includes zeolite, and zeolite benefits include detoxing toxins from the body, including ammonia and heavy metals, and binding them for the safe removal from the body so you're not bombarding your liver and your kidneys. Furthermore, it cleans the whole digestive tract, helps with regularity, heals colitis, ulcers, and reduces intestinal inflammation. And it's just now programmed with frequencies to detox you from heavy metals further and insecticides. So there you go. And now to the good stuff. Ryan Williams, our guest, is a pioneer in the biofeedback industry, and as a child requiring speech therapy, he's always been interested in biofeedback as a treatment technique. From being a patient to becoming a practitioner, Ryan has witnessed the tremendous results in biofeedback. Over the past 20 years, he's become a leader in the industry. He created the world's first voice analysis app, and it took Ryan over 8 months of working with designers and engineers to create this beta version. And since then, he's gone over to produce over 30 customized app solutions based upon a principle of interactive biofeedback apps. This is his flagship app is called the Genius Insight app. Welcome, Ryan. How are you today?
Sarah, I'm really good. Thank you so much, and lovely introduction, and always good to have the opportunity to be here. So thank you.
Well, I've been using my Genius Insight app all day already, so I am excited to dive in. And it's just amazing how our paths have crossed. And I've been using frequency-based devices over the last 15 years. And what's so funny is, as I'm talking about how I've been biohacking, I wouldn't have been able to test different supplements or diets or mythologies, healing mythologies on myself if I didn't have that biofeedback constantly telling me this was working for me, this isn't. And so I'm really excited now that it's not just something that you have to go to a practitioner for, but this is something that people can have and take their power back and have it in their own home to heal their own families, their kids, their husbands, if they want to share. But I want to start at the very basic level. People do understand the placebo effect per se, right? They meaning that their thoughts can actually be affecting a physical change in their body without taking a supplement or a food or a medication that's doing anything. And I talk a lot about the mind, body, and spirit connection. So I thought first we could talk about frequency-based healing at the very basic level. So for those people out there who are thinking healing only comes through medicine and nutrition, and even alternative supplements, we could start there, and you could give us a description of what biofeedback is and what quantum feedback is.
Of course, and thank you very much, for the opportunity. I think, you sort of touched on a really good few points there, specifically when you are looking at frequency medicine. Frequency medicine, it sort of embodies the conceptual idea behind integrative medicine. And what excites me about frequency medicine is that at a sort of cellular level, our body consists of voltages, amperages, and resistance. Basically, we are the body electric. As an example, if you look at, let's say, acupuncture, when they actually put that specific needle in a specific point in the body, what they're doing is that there's an actual blockage in that specific acupuncture point. That needle, it's a stainless steel needle, and that blockage, what it's doing, it's actually creating a conductivity. In other words, it's trying to help the energy flow. But from a sort of electrical perspective, that stainless steel is basically going slap bang into a point to basically short circuit what has actually been going on. By short circuiting it, it basically improves the energy flow, and then that is how you essentially improve your chi. So, even at a base sort of fundamental level, when you look at, acupuncture, you see that fundamentally we are the body electric. And there's been, tons of books that have been written about the body electric. So, what we're trying to do with our technology is to tap into that energetic electrical field. So to specifically answer your question, initially biofeedback came out, which was essentially a measurement technique that could measure your brainwave activity, your galvanic skin response, etc. And traditional biofeedback, it's essentially measuring the response of the body, be it your galvanic skin response, your skin perspiration, be it your brainwave activity, etc. So it's a simple sort of measurement technique, which is great. And that was the sort of premise or the underlying premise where quantum biofeedback began to evolve. Because, what we realized is that if we are able to measure the body's responses real time, we should be able to subject something to them and then measure the response. So that's really what quantum biofeedback is and why it is so different to traditional biofeedback. So really what we're doing is that we are presenting these energetic stimuli to the body. We're looking to see how the body responds, and then based on that response helps us determine specific issues or specific imbalances within the body. And once you've identified those imbalances, because again, we are dealing with frequencies, we can actually go ahead and stimulate the body's own innate healing by exerting or by stimulating the body with different energetic signatures or sort of frequencies. Because ultimately, as you said, what we're trying to do is help the user take back control of their health. And with technology like this, where you've got it at your home, you can help stimulate your body's own innate healing ability.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Just an example, because someone asked the question, do you use yourself as a test subject? Yes, I do, and everything. And all my supplements on my website, I've taken myself. I don't feel comfortable promoting anything or selling anything that has not worked for me personally or one of the 5 people in my home. That is how strongly I believe in what I do. So, and then number 2, someone asked, what is the cost of these types of machines or devices? Well, I was going to see a practitioner to get it done with a machine that cost upwards of $20,000 to $30,000. Obviously, that's not an at-home use device. And what we're talking about here is very cost effective and under $1,000. So definitely stay tuned and we'll talk more about it specifically. But Ryan, what you're talking about, the biofeedback, like for instance, in the last couple of weeks, I've been under some stress and I've had a headache per se. And I didn't know, is the headache hormonal? Is it dietary? Is it stress related? So that's when I can test myself and say, okay, my cortisol's through the roof. So I know what the reason is. Number 1, I'm going to treat myself with the device, but on the other side, I'm also going to take some more self-care measures to lower my stress in general. And that's what's so amazing. And you truly feel that power of your health back. And especially when you're in this time with COVID and you don't know if you've been exposed to a virus, or virus will come up as your top hit if something is been triggered in your body. So that's what's so great about this. So let's talk about vibration and the science behind vibration and voice technology, because some people, it seems a little voodoo if you're talking into a device and that device is taking that voice print and getting some feedback from it. I mean, people constantly are asking me, well, don't you need a blood test? Don't they need to draw some blood or draw some urine or draw some saliva to really test what's going on in your body? And that's what's so amazing about this.
You know, it's a good point. And in some ways, I actually probably agree with them. I think in many ways, you know, this is like sort of voodoo in a way. But, you know, to me, it's important to understand it's an emerging technology. There's certainly, you know, I'll be very clear, you know, with my disclaimer, our voice analysis aspect, it's not 100% accurate. But to me, we've got the theory behind the voice analysis, which I will certainly go into shortly. But, you know, what excites me about this aspect is A, it's emerging. B, the feedback that we get from practitioners all the time helps us evolve our algorithms, and we're constantly changing. We are constantly doing research and development to, you know, in an effort to fine tune the work that we have been doing and the work that we are doing. To me, I always go back to the actual clinical context of the client, because, you know, even with a blood test or, you know, or an X-ray, you are going to get false positives. The idea behind this technology is that, you know, with a client or with yourself, you want to look at the information and equate it back to your actual, you know, to your sort of clinical context. And in other words, you know, why has a client come to see you, or why are you using the device? And once you begin to hold that in the back of your mind, you know, when you look at the data, you can basically extrapolate the data that is applicable, you know, that is applicable to you. Just a few things, you know, specifically with the actual voice analysis, the theory that we have behind the voice analysis. Now, first and foremost, I mean, voice analysis has been around for many, many years. You know, typically you can hear if somebody is sick, if they have a cold, if they're anxious, or if they're stressed, or if they're angry. You know, so there's a lot of data that naturally occurs throughout communication. In fact, even when we communicate, I think like 70 or 80%, you know, of our communication is sort of verbal, but then you've got the other components as well. It's not just the actual words, it's the tone, it's the pitch, it's the stammer in my case as well. So, you know, first and foremost, let's accept there's a lot of data contained within the voice. So when we were developing the technology, you know, to me, it's sort of pretty simple. I had this conceptual idea where you have an interface and then you have a database. So the interface is the nice screens that you look at. And then on the back end, you've got this database. And the database comprises of thousands and thousands of energetic substances. They can range from herbs to pathogens to viruses to electroacupuncture point to your meridians. Because the basic premise or basic understanding about energy medicine is that everything is vibrating at its own different frequency. If you go back to 1950, I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Royal Raymond Rife. He was one of the pioneers in this industry where he began to isolate specific frequencies for specific viruses, in fact, you know, specifically cancer. The results that he got back in 1950 were astounding. You know, nonetheless, things happened and he ended up dying a broken alcoholic man, but his research still lives on today. So there's a lot of information out there where you have existing databases of homeopathic remedies, vibrational signatures for herbs and homeopathics and viruses and acupuncture points. So that's basically the database. So when we run the analysis, we capture the client's voice. And if you could imagine the voice as like a real sort of complex frequency wave pattern. So we take that complex frequency wave pattern, we run it through what's known as a mathematical algorithm called a Fourier transfer. And that basically just simplifies that complex voice program or that complex voice pattern into a very simple, singular line wave frequency. So now we've got a single frequency and then a single sort of complex wave pattern. And then we compare our database of herbs and substances against the voice, and then we look at the deviations away from the norm. And then from a sort of graphical side, you know, the actual interface side, it displays the results according to a high number and a low number. The things in the middle are fine, they balance. The things that are high and the things that are low are the items that you would want to pay attention to.
And I've asked this question to you before. when a number's high, for instance, like say in my hormones, testosterone's high and estrogen's low, does that mean the testosterone in my body is high, or does that mean it's an acute problem where it needs to be balanced before any of the other hormones, and it could mean that my testosterone's actually low, but in a state that needs to be addressed?
Again, a great question. Typically, a lot of the practitioners, they have a sort of simple rule of thumb that if the item is low, it's a sort of chronic condition. If the items are high, it's an acute condition. However, my personal belief with that is it is a very limiting belief system. And what I mean by that is, you need to look at the global picture behind the client.
Right.
And again, to me, one of the great things about this technology is that we've incorporated many different modalities into one system. You can analyze your aura, you can do your chakra balancing, you can have a look at your risk profiles, you can have a look at your spinal energy flow, you can have a look at your Bach flower remedies, your hormones, etc., etc. So we've taken all these different modalities and we've brought them into one system for a few reasons. The first reason is that, and again, all of this is my personal opinion, but I think a lot of practitioners get stuck in a sort of very dogmatic belief system. As an example, if you are a chiropractor, everybody that sees you, you are going to try to balance them from a chiropractic perspective. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, that is a very limiting belief system because, you know what, maybe this person doesn't need an adjustment. Maybe they just need herbs or nutrition. But because somebody has spent 5, 6, 7 years training to be a chiropractor or an acupuncturist, they try to fit everybody into that box. Then you look at this kind of technology where we're not biased. We're an unbiased system, and we're looking at the body electric based on what the body is actually telling us. So maybe you will use the app today, and you'll see, oh, today I need to focus on nutrition. Maybe tomorrow you need to focus on a chiropractic adjustment, a sort of energetic adjustment. So to me, the technology, it's there and it's evolving, and it's almost like you're sort of peeling off the layers of the onion, when you are using this technology. But the biggest and best, and the thing that I really love, is that it's not biased.
I totally agree. And this is what's so exciting for me, because over the last 15 years, I've been using some sort of biofeedback devices. I've to my husband's, as he looks at me and goes, "One more thing, are you serious?" I've got all of these devices and they all do one little thing, and they're coming from different angles. And then I've got supplements, and then I've got my diet protocol, and all of these aspects where this device brings all of it together. So just like you're saying, there's no bias, because I am so excited to bring these to my clients and to the listeners to give them the control back. And the other fantastic part of this is people know about and have heard about muscle testing. Well, you can actually input different modalities like exercise or red light therapy or foot baths or sauna therapy, or different supplements, like all the supplements I talked about in the beginning, the silver, the gold, CBD oil. I can manually put those in my device and then test them on me and ask my body what it wants that day. And it's amazing what it's been coming back with. And just in my personal life, it's just mind blowing, Ryan. I'm every single day, something new comes up where I just can't believe this is at my fingertips at such an effective and reasonable price, where people were spending thousands of dollars going to the doctor and going to different acupuncturists and chiropractors and this doctor and that doctor, and going to get, going to the sauna place and all of these different things, where now this device is telling you what your body needs and wants and gives you that control. It's phenomenal. So I want to take a little break. We're going to take a short commercial break and come back and talk about the app that we have been describing up until now. And we'll be back with Ryan Williams. Welcome back to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm your host, Sarah Banta. We've got Ryan Williams here from the Genius Insight app. And it is also, someone asked me, where can you find this? And you can find and read more about it at acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I highly recommend you go over there and check it out. And then someone also asked, why are more people not using this if it's readily available? And, that's why we're having this interview right now, because I am trying to spread the word and to get it out there. And people are using this around the country, around the world. It just needs people like you to share this episode and to get it out there as much as we can. So, Ryan, let's talk about and the root of energy medicine and how it's been lost through modern medicine. And obviously, big pharma doesn't make money off of this, so that could be part of the reason. But let's touch on what energy medicine is and why we have lost touch.
For sure. I certainly won't get into the politics with that. But, maybe to sort of answer that question is first and foremost, when it comes to sort of natural herbs and to natural remedies, it is not something that you can actually patent. So part of the challenge, the reality is, money makes the world go around. And if you can create a product that you can patent, obviously that is where the money lies. So, just to understand that from a sort of foundational aspect, I think, that has certainly hindered the progress of energy medicine or looking at the body from a sort of electrical perspective. But what I always do is that, to me, the way we as integrative practitioners or frequency practitioners, whatever you want to call us, the way we look at the body is as the body electric. If you take your medical doctor, he's looking at you from the sort of body in terms of chemistry, where, 2 parts sodium, 1 part potassium, etc. So typically with a lot of the medications that they dispense, it's a sort of chemical composition. Whereas if you look at us from energy medicine practitioners, instead of us trying to give the sort of chemical substance, we're actually giving the, the sort of energetic substance. We're trying to give the frequency equivalent of what the body needs to actually get the body back into balance. So I think, sort of first and foremost, there's like a fundamental divide between the way the allopathic field, views the human body to the way we as integrative practitioners, view the actual sort of human biofield. So I think, first and foremost, because there's such a fundamental different belief system there, it certainly has created a sort of great divide. But, one of the exciting things is that there's more and more medical doctors that I know now that are actually learning integrative health. They're going to these homeopathic seminars and to these vitamin seminars. I know very few acupuncturists or chiropractors or essential oil practitioners that, after using this, decide to go and become a medical doctor. I just do not really see that happening. But certainly, from the other side, it's, that is actually really encouraging to see.
I agree. Let's talk about foreign pathogens and how you touched on this a little bit earlier, but maybe really describe on 101 on how these foreign pathogens, the viruses, bacteria, have their own frequencies and how a device like this can help cancel them out through vibration.
For sure. So, I think first and foremost, there's 2 or 3 different ways that our technology will work. And I'm talking about, frequency medicine as a sort of general. Hopefully many people are familiar with the work of, Dr. Royal Rife as an example. But there's a whole plethora of different frequency devices that are out there that have a very high output. What I mean by that is, maybe you can hold electrodes, or maybe there's a conductive component, which is sort of placed over the skin, and you can actually feel the sort of energetic discharge. In other words, you can actually feel the sort of transfer of electrons. It is a very high, powerful device. The problem that I personally have with that kind of technology is that it sort of overrides the body's natural defense system. So if you look at your traditional Rife machines, as an example, you can basically turn up the dial to essentially increase the power. But at a cellular level, like I alluded to earlier, we have a sort of millivolt exchange. We have an ionic exchange of energy all the time, but it's at a very, very, very low sort of voltage. Now, when you subject a very high voltage into the body, to me, you sort of bypassing your body's natural defense system. You overriding your body's sort of natural gravitation. Whereas if you look at our technology, the way we work is that we don't have these very high frequencies, because what we are trying to do is work on a sort of homeopathic principle where you have more of less and less of more. So, for example, with homeopathy, the more diluted the solution is, the more powerful the solution is. Mm-hmm. Because what it's doing, it's basically entering in the body or the etheric field, and it's helping to stimulate the body's own innate healing. So with our technology, we're not trying to override the body's natural defense system. What we're trying to do is, let's say there's a specific virus that comes up. And, the way our technology works is that if you identify a specific virus, what you would do is you would take that virus and you would drag it into we call them a hold tray. And then you can set your timer to the number of minutes that you'd like to use, and you push start. And what it does, it actually broadcasts that specific frequency into the body. Now, the way a lot of the systems work is that when it broadcasts that specific frequency into the body at a very high power, it basically overrides the body's natural defense system, and it's trying to force a response. Mm. With our technology, it's very subtle. So instead of trying to force a response, we sort of trying to tickle, or we're trying to tease the body to say, hey, this is a bad thing. Do you remember this bad thing? And then the body theoretically should wake up and stimulate its own immune system response and stimulate its own innate healing ability to kickstart its body back into gear to actually help eliminate that foreign pathogen, or whatever that may be. So to me, the sort of distinct differences between the two types of frequency medicine, I'm certainly not here to dismiss the high-powered devices that are out there, but to me, from a sort of energetic perspective, it just makes a lot of sense for us to basically work, with the body, versus against the body.
That makes sense. You're teaching your own body to heal itself then for future illnesses or viruses or foreign pathogens it might come across. Is that your theory?
Exactly, yeah. Because, the whole thing is that we're trying to empower the body, A. B, we trying to get the body back into balance naturally. And, when you sort of override what your body's telling you, you're sort of defeating in my opinion, you're sort of defeating the objective. The other thing to bear in mind as well is, in terms of our technology, once you've provided your balancing, it'll give you an estimation, it's a statistical probability in terms of how successful that balancing session was. It'll give it on a scale from 0 to 100. So a lot of practitioners will try to push the body and up to 80% rectification or 90% rectification. My personal sense with that, again, it's you sort of overriding your body's natural defense system again, because if you only get a 15 or a 20% rectification, to me, it's better because it's easier for the body to actually hold on to that percent rectification. It goes back to the principle of more of less and less of more. So in this instance, if you get a 20% rectification when you may be trying to, balance a virus or whatever it is, that's a good sign, because rather do it in small steps, because if you try and do one large step, the body is lazy. It's going to typically go back to its natural state of rest. So rather, it's like an entrainment process. You entrain it a bit, you stimulate it a bit, you get a bit of a percent rectification. Okay, great. You know what? We're improving. And that, to me, is the great thing about this technology, is that, you want to entrain the body, you want to improve the body over a period of time. You go to a chiropractor, you get an adjustment within 2 hours, your body has gone back to its normal state. That's just the way it is.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, I am a type A personality, so when I first got the app, I was looking for the 80 to 90% rectification. So that makes
a lot of people do, and there's certainly no judgment there. I just, I mean, the cool thing, as well with this, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's, what we are finding is that everybody is using this to suit their own needs. I mean, I have practitioners calling me all the time, asking me these weird, outlandish protocols, and they're telling me the results they get. And honestly, we never programmed the technology to work in the manner that they are making it work. But the results that they're getting are just incredible. Mm-hmm. So to me, hey, if it's working by all means.
Well, it's amazing. And for all of you who are listening and really curious what this is the Genius Insight app, and you can download it to your smartphone, your iPad, any device. I have it right on my phone, so I'm carrying it with me at all times. I can start healing myself 24/7 if I want. I mean, that's what's so amazing about it. It's not a big clunky device that you have to sit at home or in a practitioner's office to use. It's something that you can constantly be working with and learning from. That's what I love about it. I want to go through, because it's so vast on the things that the information it's giving you. Let's go through some of the things that it is telling you, whether it's the body's organs, the foreign pathogens, today's stress, the meridians, the aura, everything. Why don't we go through some of the main points that the Genius app does?
Gosh, I'm not too sure how to answer that, but essentially we have a database of thousands and thousands of different substances, and then we've broken them up into different categories. So your first step is that we will analyze the body based on your mind, your body, and then your biofield. So it'll give you a numerical value, and then you can drill down into subpanels within your mind, within your body, and then within your biofield. What I mean by, for example, subpanels is we may have an essential oil panel. We may have your brainwave functioning. We'll have, chiropractic panel and electroacupuncture panel, your meridian panel. So we've got many, many different panels that you can use to basically drill down deeper to try to understand how your body is reacting. And depending on the results and depending on how you view the results will help you determine your specific imbalances. So, to me, one of the great things about this technology is that it's not a basic analytical piece of software. Yes, it can help determine your imbalances, in the body. But one of the great things is because we are dealing with frequencies, it can actually help send corrective balancing frequencies back into the body to help get the body back into balance. So, it's not a case of, sitting back, pushing a button, and then off you go. It doesn't work like that. The technology is designed to educate you, to inform you, to provide you with a sense of, what is going on within the body. And, to me, one of the biggest things that we found to be really beneficial here is that in a clinical perspective, it is so empowering to be able to run an analysis on a client and show them the different panels, because they can actually visualize what is going on within their body. If you had to come to me with if I had a practice and said, oh, your meridians are like out of whack. Well, okay, great, But if I actually show you on a piece of technology, which is tapping into your information field saying, hey, Sarah, have a look here. This is out of whack, this is out of whack, this is out of whack. This is what we're going to try to correct. Let's see if we can correct it. Hey, you know what? We've got a 20, 30, 40% rectification. That's great. What that is doing from the client side, A, you're enrolling the client, which means you're going to get a better client compliance. B, you educating the client. And then C, you actually helping to stimulate their sort of own visual healing capabilities as well. Because now they can see, oh, my meridian is out of whack. And suddenly, instead of just, hearing somebody talk to you, you're actually visualizing what's going on inside your body.
That's where the power is. I mean, it's amazing how I hear a little feedback. I'm sorry about that. the meridians, and I wanted to touch on that because I was having kidney issues, and it was showing that my kidney meridian was blocked, and then also my kidneys were inflamed. So as I was healing, the kidney meridian got back into balance, and then in the organ section, my kidneys got back into balance. Why don't we talk a little bit about what meridians are? Because a lot of people don't understand that. Obviously, the Western medicine doesn't talk about meridians in the health realm. Can you discuss what meridians are in the body?
Of course, so we have 12 main meridians, which are like imaginary lines that basically run through your body. Those sort of imaginary lines, as much as what they are imaginary, there's 2 or 3 companies in India that have actually done scientific validated studies, and they've actually been able to identify the actual specific meridian. So, the meridians are these sort of imaginary pathways of information that essentially run through the body that basically govern a lot of the body functions. Now, I'm sure you've heard about acupuncture. Basically, every single acupuncture point is within each and every meridian. So if you take your liver meridian, all of the different acupuncture points for the liver meridian will basically be along that meridian. Now, essentially, when people become sick or when they become ill, it's because there's a blockage, there's stagnant energy or stagnant chi within one of those meridians. So typically, I went back to the actual acupuncture point. When you are putting that needle in that specific point, you're trying to create a short circuit. You're trying to get the chi or the energy to actually begin flowing. So that's the sort of theory behind meridians. But again, the meridians is just one component about the genius. It's one panel of 30, 40, 50 different panels. And, just to sort of, to add to something else, what has been really exciting for us is that we've created a kind of open architecture software, because we've had so many practitioners approach us and say, oh, can you add this for us? And can you do this for us? And it became a sort of never-ending process of trying to please everyone. So we created a sort of open architecture software, which essentially enabled people like yourself to create your own panels, to create your own test matrices. So as an example, if you are a Bach flower remedy practitioner, or if you are a young living oils distributor, or if you have a specific nutritional line that you really support and you really love, you can actually create your own test matrix, which means that you can import those into the software. You can then run an energetic scan and find which of those items will have the most benefit and will have the least benefit. And sorry, just a last thing is that what makes it even better is the community that we have in terms of the practitioners so willingly, sharing and selling all these different panels that they've created. It's been a real, sort of blessing to the community.
It has. I've downloaded all of them and they've been fantastic. You've got libraries about weight loss, about PCOS, hormonal balances, thyroid issues, you name it, they're there, and everyone's working together as a community. It's amazing. And I have created, like I mentioned in the beginning, my own library of my main supplements, and I test them on myself, what my body's asking for that day. So it's great too with my clients. I can test them to see what is specific, what their bodies are asking for. We're coming up on time a little bit, but I really quickly wanted you to describe what PEMF is and your Odyssey app as well.
Surely. So PEMF to me is one of the gold standard in terms of energy medicine. PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field. From a sort of simplicity's sake, there is a big, large coil. It is wrapped in copper, and they wrap it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And what that does, it actually creates a pulsed electromagnetic field. One of the great things that we have with our technology is that we do have various PEMF devices that actually interface with all of our software. In other words, the delivery of the actual balancing frequencies we can now create a pulsed electromagnetic field, which is far more superior, it's far more powerful, and people get fantastic results. And PMF, it is actually, it's registered with the FDA, et cetera, et cetera. So this is not a sort of woo-woo thing. It really is a very powerful form of therapy. The Odyssey app, just briefly, it's a very simplistic app which we've designed for your household, where people, if they don't really want to spend much time trying to understand, what is going on within their body, they can get this Odyssey app, which has a series of different programs. And in this case, you basically push a button, and then it takes you through a journey of certain energetic frequencies to help stimulate the body's own innate healing ability. You can connect that to your PMF for a superior effect as well.
It's amazing. I use both of them, everybody. And if you want to learn more about the Genius Insight app or the Odyssey app and the PMF, you can go to accelerated.healthproducts.com under devices, or email me directly. This has, I've been in the health industry for over 15 years, and I can't tell you how this has changed my life in just the last month. So it has truly given me my power back and my family's. And when the kids come to me and say, Mom, I've got a headache, and I don't know is it because of the weather change? Is it because they're stressed? Is it because hormonal imbalances? I then get to find out right there and then in my house without calling anybody. And the answer is there, and I'm able to help get them what they need, whether it's dietary supplements or just a treatment on the app. And it's on my phone. Honestly, it could not be more simple. So highly recommend it. And please contact me if you have any questions. So thank you, Ryan, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. If I can help you directly with your health issues, you can contact me, Sarah Banta, at sarah@acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I'm happy to put together a protocol for you. I know sometimes it's hard to know where to start. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram under Accelerated Health Products, and my YouTube channel under Accelerated Health Radio. You can find this episode and all of the episodes on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Pandora, or whatever podcast platform you subscribe to. I also do Accelerated Health Bites, where I do short informational videos about health topics and solutions that you ask about. So if you have a condition or a topic you want me to address, let me know. And if you liked what you heard today, please hit the subscribe button and share this with a few of your friends who may need my help. This, especially today, can help so many people in your world, especially in the condition we are all in. It is not even easy to get to the doctor if you wanted to right now. So this gives you your power back. As you share my channel, it also helps me help more people like you and bring more cutting edge guests on the show like Ryan. Don't miss next week's interview. And also you can find the supplements, all the informational videos at acceleratedhealthproducts.com, and use coupon W4HC20. That's W4HC20 for 20% off site-wide. As you support Accelerated Health Products, I'm able to bring you this show and the amazing guests. Thanks for joining us on Accelerated Health Radio and TV, and have a great week. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks so much. Enjoyed being here. Bye-bye.